Meanwhile, Bates is in prison, and Anna searches for evidence to exonerate him, discovering a notebook that might hold crucial leads. O'Brien tries to secure a footman position for her nephew, Alfred, despite Carson's concerns about his height, leading to tension among the servants. Matthew and Lady Mary discuss their future and the possibility of living independently from Downton after the wedding. As the town prepares for Lady Mary and Matthew's wedding, Robert, Earl of Grantham, worries about Downton's finances after a failed investment in the Canadian National Railway. Robert travels to London to assess the financial damage, learning the devastating extent of their losses and the potential threat to Downton's future. News arrives that Sybil will attend the wedding after all. He considers downsizing the staff, while Cora wants to support Branson's sister. Back at Downton, Robert clashes with Cora over the hiring of the new footman, highlighting his growing stress. Daisy, feeling overlooked for a promotion, is tempted by Thomas's manipulative offer. At dinner, the family's wedding preparations are interrupted by Violet's snobbish remarks about Americans and Robert's reprimand of a footman, leading Cora to question the staff's readiness. Downstairs, Molesley is anxious about Bates's new assignment and potential job losses, while Carson dismisses Alfred's confusion and O'Brien criticizes Molesley. Branson arrives at Downton and receives a warm welcome from some, but Robert's disapproval is evident. Alfred is then tasked with preparing for Branson's visit. Mary expresses her desire to protect Sybil in a conversation with Branson and offers him an embrace. Back at Downton, Cora reveals to Robert that she has invested her inheritance in a risky scheme, causing him distress. Meanwhile, Anna writes to Bates seeking information about Vera's death and visits him in prison, delivering letters of support and inquiring about any letters he wrote to Vera. Anna continues her efforts to exonerate Bates, vowing to write to everyone in the book, while Bates expresses concern about the time it will take. Meanwhile, Edith defends her engagement to Sir Anthony Strallan, dismissing concerns about their age difference. O'Brien surprisingly encourages Thomas to help Alfred succeed as a footman, as Matthew has turned down Molesley to be his valet. Tensions rise at dinner as Branson's political comments provoke disapproval from Robert. Mary publicly accuses Larry Gray of drugging Branson, leading to Larry's reprimand and Branson's acceptance by Matthew. Edith shares a flirtatious moment with Robert Gray after the dinner. Later, Robert informs Mary about the family's dire financial situation and they pledge to save Downton. In prison, Bates faces pressure to confess to a crime he didn't commit. Mary discusses her upcoming wedding with her family as Branson arrives at Downton. Violet and Isabel discuss the impending arrival of Cora's mother, Mrs. Levinson. Branson is then pressured into trying on Matthew's morning coat, much to his chagrin, when Mrs. Levinson finally arrives, immediately making her presence known with criticisms of English customs and expressing her intention to interfere with Mary's wedding plans. The servants scramble to accommodate Mrs. Levinson's unusual dietary needs, while she questions the family about Matthew's lineage. As the wedding approaches, Violet and Martha exchange sharp comments. A telegram arrives confirming the death of Swire's heir, making Matthew the sole heir to a fortune, which Swire intended for Matthew to use on his daughter. Mary learns about Matthew's inheritance and her father's financial mismanagement, feeling it unfair for Matthew to profit while Downton is failing, but Matthew refuses to use the money to save the estate, disappointing Mary. The night before the wedding, Mary pleads with Matthew to use the inheritance to save Downton, but he remains steadfast in his refusal. On the wedding morning, Molesley is not present, and Tom goes to collect Matthew. Before Tom leaves, Carson thanks him for helping resolve the tension between Mary and Matthew the night before. In her room, Mary, with Anna present, is visited by Sybil, who assures her that her planned marriage is just as romantic as Sybil's own elopement. As Mary prepares for her wedding with Cora and Anna, Mrs. Levinson arrives to join them. Outside, flower girls depart for the church, observed by Robert, Cora, and Carson. Downstairs, Mrs. Patmore and Daisy prepare the wedding food under Mrs. Hughes's watchful eye. Robert and Cora greet arriving guests, including Isabel, as Mary descends the stairs in her wedding dress to be given away by Robert. Mary expresses her happiness to Robert before they walk toward the church where guests are arriving and being seated. Isabel greets Tom, who declines to sit with the family. Townspeople line the streets to watch the wedding procession. A horse-drawn carriage carries Mary through town to the church, where Matthew and Branson await. Violet and Mrs. Levinson exchange barbs. Finally, Mary and Matthew meet at the altar, and Mary is given away by Robert. Mary and Matthew smile at each other and exchange words before the ceremony.